What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. And here we go, heading into week number 8. I guess we have to sort of look back to week 7 here for a second, Craig, through transparency, of course, and tell everybody what happened to us. And then we can move on to week 8. What happened? We went 3-2 in the Westgate SuperContest again.
Awesome.
Right? That's fantastic.
Nugget, how'd we do?
Oh, not so good.
No, not good at all. Yeah, I think as we begin this week, I think it begs the question, because a lot of people certainly watch these streams every single week, is that when you're going through a losing streak, as we are here, and very specifically in college football, the question is, when the games lose and they lose badly and it looks like you're completely on the wrong side, do you change your process? Do you change the ideas? And I tend to not do that. I tend to just go up there and fire the same ideas over and over again, only because at the end of the season, I still feel like there's that margin between somewhere between 49 and like 55%. And I still feel like at the end of the season, it will be there. So to kind of go against things that I normally would do, especially with college football, is just not something that I would. But in terms of the games themselves, we pick 7 games in the Golden Nugget contest. We usually pick 4 college and 3 pro, and all 4 college games lost, just to put it right out there. They all lost. They were not particularly close. Yes, Utah was winning for a while. Yes, Northwestern was covering through the third quarter. Yes, all those things were happening. But in the end, when you look at it, was there a bad beat? Was there a bad issue? No, those were just losses. So, we just get back up there and do it again. And certainly, I'm always on Mondays and Tuesdays eyeing the games for Saturday. And in the same way that I liked some games last week, I'm right back at it, liking some games going into this week too. We are seeing things for sure well in the NFL yet again, another season here. But started off fantastic in the college picks, then muddled around 500 for a while, took a dip, muddled around 500 again, and now on the losing side. So only one way to go, and that is up.
And that is definitely up. Yeah. Some college stuff that we've kind of been talking about back and forth. One of the games in particular, I messaged you yesterday, I think it was, right? When I heard that Texas Tech fired their head coach. And I'm like, Craig, Texas Tech, no matter what, right? And then I looked and I saw that they were playing number 4 Oklahoma.
True.
And I was like, ooh, but the spread, 22.
Yeah.
Giving us a big spread. They're tempting us, Craig.
Washington State, their coach wouldn't get vaccinated. They ended up firing him, and we were like, oh, what do we do with this game? Is it like a firing? Is it the same? Washington State covered the spread too. So, yeah, we've been going with this narrative when the coach gets fired. If you don't know, this is the first time you're watching, when the coach gets fired in college or in pro, we usually back that team the next week because the players sort of take it personal, take it upon themselves. It's worked in college. Obviously, the Raiders have now won 2 in a row without Gruden.
It's hit over 65% of the time. Since you and I have been doing this, right? It's been hitting for a while.
The things that hit, nothing has really changed in terms of sports betting. You're going to have years where Monday night home dogs are going to lose. You're going to have that. But if you keep at this every year, you're going to win more than you lose betting on home dogs on Monday night. And lo and behold, back-to-back weeks. Is it 3 weeks in a row, by the way? It may be 3 weeks in a row on Monday night.
Home dogs on Monday night? Yeah, it is.
And all 3 have covered. So, and look, and you know what will happen is there'll be 2 home dogs on Monday night that will not cover, and we'll probably be on them. So we lose those. But then out of the 5, we've won 3. So that's above 50%. And again, that's what you're trying to do. There's just things that through generations have been profitable in terms of sports wagering. So we just tend to stick with some of those. One thing that has not come in the last couple of weeks is the home favorite against the road team that is ranked. That has not come in. So, that's one part of the process where it's like, okay, I got to take a deeper look at this before I just blind bet that. But we have another one coming up this week, Wisconsin. Is favored at home against Iowa. So again, toying with that stuff is fun.
I don't love Iowa very much either. Like, I mean, I don't love anybody in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Big Ten is terrible. Absolutely correct. Big Ten is terrible. It's going to be a shame. Someone's going to get in from the Big Ten into this college football playoff. But the good news is that when they get in, Howard will be fading them. Like, if it ends up being Michigan as the 4, going up against Georgia as the 1, and Georgia's laying 12, we're just going to lay the 12. We're not going to even think about it. It's just, that's what we're going to do.
No, definitely. All right, so just to recap, and again, these tickets are over at wageralarm.com. We lost on Northwestern, Utah, UCLA, and Louisiana Tech. Boom. Gone.
UCLA winning also in that game. UCLA up 14-0 on Oregon early on in that game, and then up 21-14. It happens. I can't look. The Louisiana Tech pick was the worst of the 4. That one never had a shot. But all the other ones, we also, it was not the right side, but I don't feel like it was a terrible handicap.
Oh, I'm not going to say it's a terrible handicap. Again, you can. I'm not going to. Nobody picks on my little brother but me. Right. For the NFL, pro games.
Better days for the NFL.
Much better days in the NFL. For the Nugget, then, we lost with Washington. That was a bad beat. That was just unbelievable on that one. Washington definitely should have covered that spread. Absolutely. No doubt about it. That was terrible. Taylor Heineke in the red zone was like, just banging my head against the wall. The Bears, that wasn't even close. We picked one game with the big spread and was the littlest of the big spread. And it was, Tom Brady at home. I'm sorry. I don't know if we can even remotely fade that. 21 touchdown passes this year. 18 have come in the 4 home games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just, it was a bad play. Yeah, taking the Bears was a bad play, bad handicap, bad idea, bad choice. The end. That's it.
There you go. I was just gonna do an old Saturday Night Live quote with "bad idea jeans," but I don't want us to get
back in Haiti again.
That's the one. Come on, how are you gonna get us canceled here? Oh, but that's exactly the quote I was gonna do.
I love that one. I love that jeans.
Nobody knows that line. Craig Mish, I want to give you a huge.
I was a huge Saturday Night Live fan in the 90s, man. Huge.
Oh my God. All right. And we won with the home dog of Seattle. That was our one win. 1-6 in the Nugget. It was a travesty.
But can I say something? My one regret in that one was not picking the Colts in that one too. I don't know why we did not pick the Colts. Why did we not pick the Colts in that one? I could have sworn that was like at the top of the list, but
what was going? Oh, because we were talking about the games where if you had a better spread, I think it was like the Bears were.
That's 13. Probably what it was.
Yeah, the Bears were plus 13 over there instead of the 12.5 at the SuperContest. And it was the same thing. We took the Patriots here, and it was like 7 versus 7.5. So,
I think the first 2 picks we discussed were the Colts and Patriots. I don't know how they didn't end up in both.
Well, we got I don't know either.
Yeah,
I don't know either.
Yeah.
In the SuperContest, we missed on the Ravens. I think everybody missed on the Ravens.
Yeah, just
Cincinnati.
Shocking how good Cincinnati was.
We covered easily with the Patriots. That
Great
wasn't.
Pick.
Yeah. The Bears we lost.
Terrible.
The Colts we won plus
good
4.
Pick. Very good.
Great pick.
Mm-hmm.
The Seahawks on Monday night again.
Yeah, very good pick.
So 3-2
I never felt Seattle was going to win, but I also didn't. Well, no, I take that back. Seattle could have won that game, but I never felt like going into the half, I was like, okay, we're going to cover this somehow. I just don't know how it's going to end. I was rooting for like a no overtime scenario, and then
me too. I was,
but boy, how bad are the Saints too? Oof. Wow,
they look terrible. The Seahawks look terrible. But come on, are you telling me on that last play of the game you didn't just see it all just slipping away from us as Geno Smith on a 4th and 28 is about to get sacked in the end zone for the safety to push it to a 5-point lead?
Oh, that's right.
I was dying inside as that was going on. Dying inside. But fortunately it didn't happen. But
I don't think we've ever lost a Seattle pick as long as we've done this.
I'm sure we
actually, I take it back. We lost last week.
There's that presidential recall of yours, Craig.
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
So how many weeks in a row have we won in the Super Contest now? Have we been over 500? Is this 3 weeks in a row?
No, it's 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row. Okay.
It was 2 weeks in a row. We went 3-2 this week, 3-2 the week before that. The week before that, I think we were 2-3.
I think we had a push with the Bengals.
We were 1-3-1. That was it.
Is that what it was? Okay. All right. So listen, we're just trekking along here. Got to get hot eventually. We know what's going to happen.
That's it. We're turning around. Here we go. Because I'm going to be in Vegas putting these picks in myself now.
You're going in this weekend?
I'm going this weekend.
Oh, sweet. Good. Have a good time.
Oh, I will.
I'll be at my Little League games. We had a game tonight, by the way.
Well, how did we do?
Winners.
There you go. See? We're already starting on an upward trend here. Love it.
We covered.
1.5 runs?
We were plus money for sure going into that, but we definitely won.
Look at you. Look at you. So let's take a look at some of the lines, some of the stuff that we got going on this weekend. Anything in particular? We've got a couple of big spreads again.
Right.
Houston is a 14-point dog to the Rams.
Thursday night. Let's start there.
You want to start Thursday night?
Yeah, let's do that because we've been good with that.
All right. The Green Bay COVIDs against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. We got word today. Well, we got word yesterday that Davante Adams needs 2 negative tests that are at least 24 hours apart. But then Alan Lazard, who is reportedly an unvaccinated player, he landed on the reserve COVID list today as well. Their defensive coordinator has the COVID as well. So what we're probably looking at here is, I think a lot of people are going to look to take Arizona at -6.5. We're going to have to wait and see if there are more cases reported over the next one. Like, I can't bet this one in good conscience because I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers because everybody was freaking out that no Davante Adams. Aaron Rodgers he's got 10 career games where they're both, him and Davante Adams are on the same team and they don't play together. Aaron Rodgers without Davante Adams, 115.5 passer rating, over 2,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And this is strictly 10 games without Davante Adams. So people are freaking out about it, but Rodgers does well. But I got to see who else ends up landing on. Okay. I can't make this pick here on a Tuesday with all of this potential news.
Yeah, I understand. I think that there's gonna come a time to fade Arizona eventually. I mean, it seems to me that when I look back now and I look at their schedule, they've played 7 games. Am I right? They're 7-0, correct?
Yep.
Have they played more than 1 game against a good team? Like, could you say that at this point? Do they have more than 1 good win?
I don't know if I can actually say that.
Yeah, like I feel like they have. Did they beat Tampa Bay? Is that correct?
Did they beat Tampa?
Oh no, they didn't play Tampa. They didn't even play Tampa Bay. They beat the Rams, correct?
Here you go. They beat the Titans. They beat the Vikings. They beat the Jaguars. They beat the Rams in Los Angeles.
Okay, that's a good win.
They beat the Niners. They beat the Browns. And they just beat the Texans.
Yeah, maybe 2 wins. Minnesota's not bad. But again, I think there's going to come a time that we're going to be able to get some good lines on Arizona where we're going to be able to fade them a little. I don't know if this is the week or not. I'm not sure. I don't recall the Packers being a significant underdog like this almost ever. And and it's funny that you mentioned that what Rodgers' record is or whatever the stats are without Adams. People forget that, Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl before Davante Adams was in the NFL, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, it's an interesting game. I guess we could just pass it for now, but I would lean Green Bay.
Okay. Which makes sense.
A lot of points there feels like a lot of points for the Packers.
But he still has Randall Cobb and he still has Robert Tonyan.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So, all right. But yeah, we're going to pass on that. Sunday, Halloween. There we go. Now we got the games going on there. Oh, what are you dressing up for as Halloween, Craig?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know yet. I think we are going to do something here. I don't have any definitive plans, so it feels like click on an Amazon mask of some kind probably in the next day or so. So I was looking for different sports stuff, but Nothing really caught my eye. What are you going to Vegas for, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
The Fish.
Oh, that's right. They're there this weekend too. My bad. 2 shows, right?
4 shows.
Oh, 4 shows. Okay.
4 shows.
Thursday,
yes.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Correct. And on Halloween, they cover another group's album for a set, and that's their musical costume.
Let me tell you something. Nobody deserves that time off more than you, my friend. So I hope you have a great time.
I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm actually probably just going to go and I'm going to grab a pillowcase and I'm going to go trick-or-treating through the MGM Grand.
Sounds like
I'm just going to knock on doors and say trick-or-treat, and hopefully somebody's going to give me some candy.
Have you ever been out of town for Halloween in your life?
Have I ever been out of town? Yeah, lots.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been out of town. I think I've always been like where I live for Halloween. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah.
Right, let's look at the games here instead of talking about our person.
Saturday real quick. Saturday. So Florida, Georgia is Saturday in Jacksonville, and Georgia are big favorites. You know, obviously I'm rooting for the Gators here. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but you know, Gators get 15 in this game, so it feels like a lot to me. You know, Gators have not played well. They lost to Kentucky. They lost to LSU. They are coming off a bye week. But, you know, certainly we'll see there. You know what's interesting? Another game Purdue is getting, like, I mean, this strange line. Sells will know this. They play against Nebraska in Nebraska. Purdue's, like, getting 8 points. That was one game that I looked at Sunday night or Monday. I was like, that feels like a lot of points. And we did have Purdue a couple of weeks ago, and I thought they played pretty well on the road at Iowa.
Yeah, it was a lot. Iowa, yeah. It was 12 points. They won it outright.
Trying to think what other. I think that's it. I think those are the two that I was looking. I'm not sure if I'll be interested in taking the Gators, but you know, it is the marquee game of the weekend for sure. And then the SEC.
We're not taking the marquee game of the weekend.
Nah, there's never any good value there. The NFL, before we get to the NFL game, so that's college for Saturday, and spending more time on it hasn't helped us. We may as well move on. But seriously, but you know what's interesting to me is I'm wondering this from your perspective. You hear all the rumors going on with, and tonight again, with Deshaun Watson maybe going to Miami and all that stuff. Like, I don't know what to believe or not. I'm not sure, Howard, if it's going to happen. But if Tua Tagovailoa is getting traded from Miami to Houston, to Miami to Houston at some point, how is it possible that they're just letting him play in these games if that really is the plan? Like, wouldn't there be, like, you know how in baseball they sit a guy, or the NBA they sit the guy, they make sure that they don't get hurt? Like Miami is not doing that. So
because it's not true. It
must not be true, right? Because if it was, wouldn't we just take Buffalo this week and not think twice about it, and then come Sunday, Tua's just like an inactive, and then we win that bet by like 1 million points?
Did you ever see the movie Slapshot?
A long time ago, yes.
Okay, well, one of the things in there is that Paul Newman's character is friends with the local beat writer, the local reporter. And so he talks to the reporter and says, do me a favor, write this article saying that there's somebody in Florida is interested in buying the team. And like that turns into like a snowball thing where people read it in the paper and they're like, well, it must be true. And that's what the Texans are doing right now in the local media with the Houston Chronicle. And they're putting out these stories that it's getting close. It's getting close. Like today's whole thing was they've agreed upon the deal, but there are a couple of hitches in it.
Right.
It's 3 first-round draft picks. This is Houston putting this out, knowing that the trade deadline is a week from today. And if they don't move Deshaun Watson, then he stays on their roster as an active player and collects a paycheck and doesn't play at all because Roger Goodell said that he doesn't have enough information to put him on the commissioner's exempt list. And so there's no guarantee that Deshaun Watson plays a single snap in the NFL this season, whether he's traded or not traded. It doesn't matter. He refuses to play for Houston, right? He doesn't want to play for them. And no team in the NFL is going to give 3 first-round draft picks if there's a chance, even a remote chance, that this guy gets convicted or of everything that he's being accused of, and has to like sit out, has to be suspended for an extended period of time. No team is going to do that, let alone trade a guy like Tua who may or may not have potential. You know, we're still kind of figuring that one out. So
I'd like to add something to that because it's easy to forget, and I'm not saying that you forgot or whatever, but like I am down this road covering the Marlins, and covering Major League Baseball. So, and I have tremendous relationships with a lot of the key decision makers in Major League Baseball. I very clearly. And I can tell you that there's definitely conversations that I've had that have led me to do reporting on things that maybe were a little bit more aggressive, maybe that they were in actuality, definitely the case. But Howard, not to this degree. And the reporters that have reported this story, I mean, essentially what we're saying is that they're being used by the team. And the only answer for me is that the reporters are taking one for the team on Houston, essentially saying, "Hey, look, you got to do this, and in the future, we're going to give you one back." Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
isn't
that what's going on with NFL beat writers across the country? They're so deathly afraid of being booted out of the locker room for giving an honest assessment. Like the whole thing that went down in San Francisco last season. You remember that? When Kyle Shanahan, a reporter from CSN Bay Area, right, turned around and said, Kyle Shanahan told us specifically not to report on JaMychal Hasty because he wanted it as a surprise for the team that he was playing against. And that was the week then that, like, whoever their starting running back was at the time got like 2 carries, and then the rest was all JaMychal Hasty. And she turned around and she outed the whole thing because everybody was railing all the San Francisco beat writers, being like, where were you on this one? Like, how do you whiff on something this big? And she turned around and said, Kyle Shanahan said specifically to us not to report on this story. And they're so afraid of being booted out of the locker room and having their access revoked that they're doing it.
Well, look, I'll be honest.
The NFL all over.
There are stories that I know that I have not reported that definitely would shake the tree. No question. I would definitely say that is the case. That I'm holding on to pretty volatile information through the years on different things, without a doubt. But the flip side of that, Howard, is that I've never had an executive or someone call me and say, "Hey, put this out there because we really need to get something done." And the problem in this scenario, and we'll get off this and get back to picks, but the problem in this scenario is that the reporter who's covered the Texans and covered Houston sports for almost 50 years is not the kind of guy that gets used. So it feels like there has to be some truth to this.
Well,
that's my problem.
He backtracked. He didn't really backtrack, but he said, people are coming at me saying I reported this. That is not what I said. So he's getting flack for it now also.
Right. Do you remember last week where it's John McClain? He's a fantastic reporter. John McClain last week said that it could happen within the week. That was last week. That's come and gone, obviously. Mm-hmm. But that was last week. And when, I tend to think, as somebody who does what he does in baseball, that I would like to not get railed. Like I would like to be right as much as I can and not sacrifice my integrity. And I don't think that he is. I think that he probably really felt like that was the case. But I can tell you that if the trade deadline comes and goes next week and he's not traded, it's going to be really hard to take anything seriously again with that. But I guess in terms of the point spread, going back to what I was talking about, if you thought for a second that this was real and you thought Miami was really trading Tua before next Tuesday, how in the world could they possibly play him against Buffalo on Sunday, which would mean Brissett would play, which would mean Buffalo, instead of 13-point favorites, would be 16 or 17-point favorites, in which you would just take Buffalo because the SuperContest lines are coming out tomorrow, and Buffalo's going to be minus 13. But, looking for free wins is sort of what I do this time of the week, and I'm just wondering if that is the case, and this is legitimate, and Tua is going to be traded. Miami's not going to play him Sunday, are they? And if not, I want to take Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, what happens if the SuperContest, if the line's locked tomorrow, and then we get like a huge report that the entire offensive line for Green Bay is on the reserve COVID list? Do we take that Thursday night free square?
I think we do. Yeah.
And then have to get the rest of our picks in.
Yeah, I think I'd be willing to take that chance.
Okay.
I think I would. If it was an absolute free win, yes. I mean, there's really no such thing in that. And if Aaron Rodgers is playing, it's really hard for me to do that. But yeah, I think so. Another line that I was looking at this week, again, how is Denver favored, Howard, over anyone? I don't understand this.
No clue.
Explain this to me.
I can't. I can't explain it to you one bit.
Unbelievable.
And I'm more than happy to pick Washington.
We're taking Washington.
As bad as their defense is, I have no problem taking the Washington football team.
How is Denver favored?
I couldn't tell you.
I think Washington's going to blow them out.
What about where is you want to ask how Denver's favored? Here's a question. How are the Eagles favored? Right? 3.5 points over the Lions.
Wow.
I'm taking you know what? We're taking the Lions as the home dog.
Should. Yeah. I think Philadelphia, I'm talking with some bias, but I think Philadelphia is in a great spot. I think that they know they're done, and they're looking at their draft picks next year. They got 3 first-round picks. Jalen Hurts, whether he's the answer or not, no one really knows for sure. Their offensive line is not good. I could see them losing almost every game the rest of the season. I could see them absolutely putting Gardner Minshew in to play at some point. And so,
if they're putting in Gardner Minshew, then they're conceding that Jalen Hurts is not the future of this franchise.
Probably so. Did you see any of that game last week between the Raiders and Eagles?
Yeah,
the Raiders destroyed them.
Yeah, Eagles
absolutely destroyed.
Terrible.
It was.
I said to you the next day, I'm like, we're taking no matter who. I didn't even look at the schedule. I said we're taking whoever's playing the Eagles. I don't care what the spread is. I don't care what the matchup is. This team is trash.
Yeah, I think their intent is worse than the talent. I'm not sure. I think their intent is basically next year to go back all in, which is fine. They got to be looking up and looking at Dallas saying, come on, we have no shot here.
Right.
And in terms of making the playoffs, it's not likely. But again, the NFC is sort of on its face here. I mean, Carolina's not good again. Atlanta's like 500. Seattle is not good. San Francisco is not good. There's still an opening, honestly, for Philadelphia to make it. And
there's an extra playoff spot this year.
Yeah, does Philadelphia look at themselves and go, "Gosh, we should really play for 8 and 9 to get whacked in the first round"? Probably not. So I'm with you there. So Washington and Detroit, that's 2 teams already. I could agree to that. Boy, terrible teams, huh? But it always wins. Who cares? We always win these games. It's like it feels terrible and they win. It always wins. Seattle, win, no problem.
How about the Chargers, home favorites against the Patriots, 5.5.
5.5? Oh,
5.5.
Don't like the Chargers, that's for sure. That's the kind of thing, though. If the Chargers go up big in that game, New England's got a big problem. So that's my only fear in that one. Because New England's not throwing, they're just running the ball.
Dallas road favorites against Minnesota, -2.5.
I've been wrong on Dallas all year, so I don't know.
All right, beautiful. I don't want to touch that one either. You know what? I got to be honest with you, man. There aren't a lot of games I want to touch here. The ones that I do want to touch, we talked Washington, we talked Detroit. I'll take the Rams and lay the 14 against the Texans. Right? I'll take the Bengals. I'll lay the 10.5 to the stupid Jets.
The Bengals are 10.5 over an NFL team. That is crazy.
Dude,
Bengals 10-point favorites? When was the last time they were 10-point favorites?
I don't know, but did you see what they did to the Ravens past week?
I did, and the Jets can't play clearly.
And the Jets have Mike White under center.
Yeah.
And they've got a terrible defense.
Is this in Cincinnati or New York?
It's in New York. Well, no, sorry, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's in New Jersey. Yeah, gosh, 10.5 on the road. Oh my gosh. I mean, I didn't see that much of Mike White. Like, how did he look?
Check down Charlie? What are you talking about?
Look good. Yeah.
Just dump it off.
Good college player, by the way. Western Kentucky. Baseball player, too.
Yeah. There's a good reason the Jets ended up trading for Joe Flacco.
If you told me he was playing, I would definitely take the Bengals. It's just not knowing about Mike White gives me a little pause. That's the only hesitation. If Flacco, I'm in. All in.
I'm all in. All right. Well, I think we got enough food for thought here to kind of sift around. I will be away this week, so Craig will be joined on Friday night with Adam Ronis, though I will be heavily involved in making these picks. So there you go. Big thanks to Matt Sells, our producer, as always. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. This has been the Wager Alarm live stream. We'll catch you next time.